We're not saying talk about how things are so amazing if they're not. But we do need to recognize the little wins we have in our life. The little things that it's like, wow, I can't believe we live in this place. I can't believe we are able to sit and eat a meal together every day. Yeah. Stuff like that. Okay, it is episode number 14.
I think that's right.
I think it's 14. You'll know when you click on it.
Yeah, I think 14's right.
Episode 14. Okay, so what are we talking about this week?
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
I am grateful for you.
I am grateful for you.
Yay!
And we are the Roots.
And we are the Roots. And we like marriage.
Oh my god! This whole intro is so awkward and cringy. People are going to be like, why am I listening to this?
Yep. This is the You, Me, Us Together podcast.
Yes, it is.
And we like things about marriage, and we like you people that keep listening. So we appreciate it.
Yes.
If you didn't know, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, and we are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus all the podcast platforms.
And we're on our own website.
Oh yeah, we do have a website. There's not much there, but we are working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bio section where you can learn more about us. It's not super long, but there's some pictures of us throughout the years, some milestones that we've hit.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about us, go there. Plus all of our online stuff. We're pretty candid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't yet. If you stumbled across this on a podcast platform and you're like, oh, they do more than podcast? We do.
Yeah.
We do a lot more.
And it's really fun on TikTok and Instagram especially. We've been doing challenge videos every week, although we didn't do them the last 2 weeks. But we're going to start it up again.
Yeah.
And where we give you a challenge to do for the week and we share how our week is going while we're doing the same challenge and
it's
encourage you to do it too.
Interactive.
Yeah.
We post updates on our story, the whole nine.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So if you want to do things with us throughout the week, check it out.
You want to have some fun with us.
Yep.
I have this itch on my back. I can't get it.
We like to have fun. We like to have fun together. We like to have fun apart sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone needs both.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Gratitude. Let's bring it. Let's reel it in a little bit.
Gratitude.
I used a fishing analogy, even though we don't fish.
That's the weakest fishing analogy ever. It's weak.
It shows people that I'm outdoorsy.
I'm grateful for that.
Thanks. I don't fish very often because I don't like to eat fish.
Yeah.
I think it's disgusting.
And you're not patient enough.
But I do buy fish in a can sometimes.
For our babies.
And I give it to the dogs and I go, I plug my nose the whole time.
They love it.
They do. It's good for their coat.
Yeah. I'm grateful for those dogs.
I'm grateful for them too.
Okay.
I'm grateful that you let me get them because both of them were my idea that I made you get me another dog.
I know. They're both very expensive. Actually, Ollie Boy, he's our discount puppy.
She's pretty cheap.
Anyway, gratitude. How does gratitude play a role in our marriages?
I think it goes along with that positivity podcast we did.
Okay, can you remind me of what?
Well, we talked about how important it is to be positive in your marriage and how that's kind of saved our marriage instead of jumping straight to negativity because that's so easy to do.
For sure.
And I think gratitude and positivity go hand in hand.
Okay.
If you constantly try to remember to be grateful, it's going to automatically give you a spirit of positivity.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah, and we're not talking about blind gratefulness. We're not saying talk about how things are so amazing if they're not.
Yes.
But we do need to recognize the little wins we have in our life. The little things that it's like, wow, I can't believe we live in this place. I can't believe we are able to sit and eat a meal together every day. Yeah. Stuff like that. It's I can't believe is actually a really bad way to put that. I don't think that's a good habit to be in, saying, man, I can't believe this, because the reality is it's believable, but I'm super grateful that this little thing we are able to do together.
Yeah.
Right?
And the I can't believe statement, I think, is more just like a awe, like a shock, like it's just so amazing that we're here. Like, it's just a phrase people use. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I just, I've tried to stop saying I can't believe as much.
You tried to stop me from saying it too, because that really bothers you, and you're like, you have no belief in me? And I'm like, that's not what I meant!
Yeah, so, in Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about that a lot in one of his chapters about, like, people need to stop saying, I can't believe this, because the reality is things are unbelievable until they happen, right? People say, I can't believe this could ever happen, and then it happens, right? And it's like, that's really not unbelievable. You just say that as a placeholder for all these other words that you could be using, like, I am so in awe of this thing that happens, or that is amazing, or we feel so blessed by the fact that this happens, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these different words that we can use, but people choose to say, I can't believe that. Anyway.
Can I insert something real quick? Especially with the God that we follow. The God of the impossible, like, literally everything is possible. Nothing's impossible for him. So saying I can't believe is kind of like a degrading him and what he can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can't put a stopper on God's power.
Yeah.
It is unimaginable how great his power is.
If you truly believe in him and how powerful he is, then nothing that happens should be something that you're like, wow, I can't believe this. It's like, it is all totally believable, because look what he has done.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, back to gratitude again.
Yes. Back to gratitude.
We're talking about being grateful about circumstances in life, right? Recognizing things that we need to be grateful for. Recognition is the first step in gratitude. The next step in our marriages is acknowledgement, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so we need to openly and verbally acknowledge to one another and around one another about our gratitude. Whether that's about our life, right? I'm grateful that we are able to live in such a beautiful area, right? It also could be while we're at a party together and I'm talking to whoever, right? Some friend of ours, and you're standing next to me listening and being a part of the conversation, and I openly tell our friend, man, Cambria did this amazing thing. I am so grateful that she is willing to step out and do that for us, right?
I'm like, what?
Talking to our two people around you about your spouse in a positive and grateful, I don't know what's the word, but just this positive light, and showing people, like, I truly am amazed at the abilities of my spouse and how they are able to love me and things like that.
Telling people why you're thankful for your spouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically.
Yeah, and it's not to this is not to manipulate the way your spouse feels about you. Inherently, it'll make them feel safer around you and feel like, wow, they're really on my team and they believe in me. But on top of that, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
You're okay.
I'm
grateful that you've had so many wise words so far.
On top of the fact that our spouse is going to feel good about it. Oh, we don't want to do things just to manipulate the way our spouse feels about us, right? Because we can butter them up, if you will, right?
Yeah.
To other people to, like, get things that we want, right? A lot of people do that. They say words that they don't actually mean in order to get what they want.
Yeah.
And that is the easiest way to break down trust in a marriage and a relationship, right?
Part of being grateful includes being truthful.
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean you have to say good things about every single little thing, because the reality is some things in life are just crap and they're terrible.
Yeah,
and
some things
you don't
just
have
suck.
to have something good to say about it.
Absolutely.
I still think it's a good habit to try to look for the good even in bad situations.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, someone dies, like, it doesn't mean you have to be like, oh, good for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can be sad, you can mourn, that's good, that's healthy.
Yeah.
But you don't have to you should try to find positivity in the situation. You don't have to be grateful for every little thing.
Yeah.
It's finding the things that you truly, really believe that you're thankful for. Yeah, finding those little things.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like I need to be super thoughtful about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these things that like catch you off guard, like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I like, this is amazing, and I am truly grateful for this thing or this person or whatever.
Yeah.
You mentioned, like, when someone passes away, it is very difficult. My great aunt passed away under bad circumstances in an accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was devastating, right? It was unexpected. Yeah. She wasn't very old. Like, there was a lot of, it was hard.
I didn't really, like, know her or know you guys much at that point, and even I heard about it.
Yeah.
From being in a different circle.
Right. She was a teacher in one of our local schools. She was a professor, maybe? I'm really trying to remember.
I don't remember that part. I just know it came up.
It was it was crazy because we go to her memorial, and we are able to be in kind of the family circle because we are family, and our family, especially even that far out, right? My great aunt, we're really close. And I was just in awe at the amount of people that showed up. Mm-hmm. Like, they ended up broadcasting the service online because there were so many people that reached out. That's like, cool. You don't see the fruits of someone's life until something like that happens. From afar. You don't recognize it, right? But it's like, this is what it's about, right? And being able to, yes, we were all mourning, and it was a really hard time, especially for her family. But it was this thing where you almost just have to look around and be so grateful for this person that was able to affect these hundreds of people around them in all these different circles. Right? Yeah. And we were all able to come together, and it's like, we all have this in common. I don't know 80% of you, but I know that you were able to experience this person's love and God's love through her. Mm-hmm. Right? And it was just crazy.
Yeah. It's cool how you can find things to be grateful for, but you don't have to be happy about the situation. Yeah. That's what I was trying to get to before. You don't have to be happy about it. It's sad. It's devastating. But you can find little things in that hard time to be grateful for, like all the lives that she affected.
Yep. Yeah, and God doesn't want us to walk through life sad and depressed and looking at all the nastiness in life. He wants us to recognize it and realize there's an enemy and there is nastiness in this world. Mm-hmm. But without the hope of being able to see glimpses of heaven, right? We just went through the series of heaven, and it seems like we just talked about glimpses of heaven.
Yeah, in church we did.
On earth. And so that's what gratitude is. Seeing those glimpses and being able to express gratitude for them. Yeah. Right? Be thankful for them.
Gratitude is glimpses of heaven.
Yeah.
It's the joy in life.
Yeah.
Find the joy.
Yeah, and it's learning to... There's a big part of it that's learning to recognize those things.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to bring up, and you stole it from me.
It's all about your perspective on life.
Yeah.
And learning to walk through life looking for those things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not going to see them. Mm-hmm. It's the same as hearing from God. right? If you're not actively trying to learn how you hear best from God, you just won't.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Gratitude is definitely something that can be trained into you, that you can learn to do and to do more easily. Because I know for some people, just their personalities, gratitude is really easy. And for some people, it is really, really hard. But that doesn't mean that, oh, that's just how I am. I'm just a negative person. Like, I'm just not grateful for things. Like, you can teach yourself how to be more disciplined in gratitude. And I remember I was in, I want to say 8th grade.
Okay.
So not super young, but not, like, old enough to, you know, like, recognize how life really is, you know?
Know how life works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my first period was English, I believe. And my English teacher, Mrs. Wolf, made us do this thing every single day before we could even start class, which was the first class that was even start our day.
Yep.
And we had to write down, I think it was 3 things that we're grateful for every single day before we even started. And I remember at the beginning thinking about, like, I'm going to run out, like, in a week or less. It's like, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my house. Like, those little things that, like, for Thanksgiving, like, you go around the table and it's like, what are you grateful for? And you're like, I'm grateful for my family.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, surface level. But it taught me to find gratitude in the littlest things. So little things like, one I think I used often was, I'm grateful for warm showers. Because it's like, when you think deeply, it's like, not everyone can take a shower that's warm. Or even take a shower versus a bath. Like, the amount of water that a shower uses.
Yep.
You know? And so I thought that was a really cool lesson to teach 8th graders, because that idea has stuck with me since. I haven't been good at doing it consistently since then, since I don't have to do it anymore. But it's something I think about a lot, and how that mindset can really, like, affect even just how your day goes.
This is so much like every concept we talk about. These are learned behaviors and habits to better your personal life and better your married life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because none of us are born with these skills.
They're all learned.
Yep.
Okay, so how does gratitude tie into marriage? I think we've covered it as, like, a whole.
Well, I think what I talked about with expressing gratitude in public places about your spouse to other people, and it's especially fun if you can talk your spouse up to other people when your spouse isn't there, and then she then interacts with that person, and they're like, oh my gosh, your husband was telling me about this thing, and it feels so good, right?
Yeah.
Both ways.
It also feels good when I am in the room. Like, that's what you chose to say about me? Aww. Yeah.
It can be both, right?
Yeah.
What I want to touch on this because we've been reading through the 5 Love Languages book with our small group.
Yeah, we've been reading through that for a while.
It's been a long time. We also haven't met with them in 4 weeks or something.
Life's gotten so busy for everyone.
But what I was getting to is the chapter we just read, they talked about how things that make each other feel really loved can so easily get turned on its head and be used to put each other down. And so in the same sense of talking your spouse up to other people, if you say something negative about your spouse, that changes the perspective of that person that you're telling it to, and it makes your spouse feel like, I don't know if I can trust you with things I tell you about me personally.
Yeah.
And so being very careful with the things that you're sharing, right?
Yeah. Just being aware.
To other people. Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. It's your spouse is the person that knows you the best in this world, or at least should be.
Yeah.
And that gives you the power to love them better than anybody else.
Yeah.
it also gives you the power to hurt them worse than anybody else could.
Absolutely. And you mentioned your spouse is supposed to be the person that knows you the best out of anyone.
Yeah.
For young couples, the transition from parents to spouse is so difficult.
Oh my gosh, it's difficult.
Couples, especially if you got married, like you moved out of your parents' house into your marriage home, or like you moved out, went to college, and then got married right after that, right?
Or it's really popular nowadays because, you know, everything's getting so expensive to get married and still live in your parents' house for a few years.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, we're part of a small group that they call themselves the basement dwellers because literally all of them live in their parents' basements.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but it's also like, it makes it really challenging to not be able to like learn to do life on your own because you still have to do it with your parents and learn to do it with this new person.
So the point I was trying to make about that was more about our parents know us best when we're growing up, right? They're the ones that changed our diapers, right?
They're the ones that saw you grow.
Yeah. From nothing.
Yeah.
And, but that transition has to be made from parents to spouse because your other half is meant to be just that, your other half, right? Your parents are no longer that, and they are now a layer out on the circle. Obviously, for some people, they are several layers out because their parents have made choices that broke their trust.
Yeah. Right?
But your parents have to move a layer out from your marital circle.
Yeah. And your marital circle should be the
you and
second circle. I was going to say the innermost circle, but I think that should be you and God.
That's a funny visual.
Sorry. The innermost circle should be you and God.
Yeah.
And then the next one is you and your spouse.
Yeah.
Just the two of you.
Yes.
In that one, and just you and God in the first one.
Right.
And then from there you can fill it in with other people.
Whoever you choose. But choose them wisely. We've talked about circles before.
I like getting deeper in concepts sometimes. It's like,
for sure.
Like, it's cool to see the connection between things. Anyway.
If you're just listening, Cambria did this hand gesture. And
I didn't mean to!
It looked like a penetrative act.
Stop! I was talking about those inner circles and who should be in the circles. I was pointing to who...
I like being in the circle. What can I say?
Shut up. Okay. Stop.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Gratitude.
Oh, moving on from your parents.
Transitioning from your parents to your spouse,
Yeah.
So that's huge.
That can be difficult from all sorts of perspectives. From sometimes parents have a hard time letting go. Sometimes the child has a hard time letting go of what they're used to. I've seen that so much, and I feel like we've dealt with it a lot, where it's like, this isn't the way you do it. This is not the way I grew up with it.
Yep.
And you're like, well, I didn't grow up with it that way either. And so we have to like figure out like, how are we going to do this thing for ourselves?
And especially in the first couple of years of being married, there's so many things, just daily tasks. Like, are you a brush person or a sponge person when you wash dishes? Mm-hmm. Are you a squeezer or a roller when it comes to your toothpaste?
Do you eat your mac and cheese with a fork or a spoon?
Yes. When you make a cup of tea, do you heat up the whole teapot or do you microwave your mug of water?
I feel like we could go on and on.
There's so many.
There's something I thought of the other day, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I'll try to think of it.
Now, the tea thing, you guys don't have to be aligned on that ever. It's up to you. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Mac and cheese thing, I mean, you should probably own forks and spoons.
It's not a big deal. But
if you are a spoon person, you are wrong. I just gotta throw that in there.
Don't listen to her. She's wrong. Unless it's Big Mac. Like big macaroni noodles, they're hard with a spoon.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another gratitude point.
But I want to finish that point real quick.
Okay.
Just how when you get married, expect there to be some change and expect to have to just let some things go.
Yeah.
That's just part of it, and the sooner that you realize that, the easier it's going to be. Doesn't mean you have to let go of your whole childhood and everything that matters to you. But you need to learn to be flexible and realize, okay, this is something we didn't realize would come up because we both have different expectations. Let's work through it and come to a decision that works for both of us. So.
I would say for any couples that have not gotten married yet, but have stumbled across our thing we got here. I would say... I got so stuck on the thing. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about.
For couples that aren't married yet.
For couples that aren't married yet, we... crap. I don't remember. I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I'll come back to it if we think of it.
We talked about gratitude to telling people good things about your spouse. Yes. I think it's also important to tell your spouse those things face to face.
Yes. So what we're grateful for about our spouse, about each other, right? And like when I come in and all the laundry's done, right? And Cambria is sitting there waiting for me.
I usually don't just sit there and wait for you.
I know, but when that's the illusion that I live in, okay?
Okay, sorry, I won't pop your bubble right there.
Then it makes me feel so loved. And actually, that's a good point. Expressing how you feel loved and when you feel loved and how grateful you are for those things.
Yeah, telling your spouse when you feel loved is part of gratitude.
Yeah. I would say it's so much easier when it's like they're doing things in your primary love language that fill your love tank.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to be thankful for them because you can so much more tangibly feel the love coming into you. But I would also say it's equally as important, if not more, to express your gratitude, even if you don't feel an immense amount of love.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, if I do the dishes because you haven't in a couple of days, whatever,
because
right?
I hate doing
because
dishes.
Because you hate it.
Oh my gosh.
I really appreciate it when you say, thank you for doing the dishes. Even though I know you expect me to do it, and I know that you probably won't do it, and so I just need to. I really appreciate it when you say, thank you for doing the dishes. I know I didn't do them, even though I said I'll try to wash them right after I cook or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
I also think part of gratitude doesn't mean brushing over conflict and only looking at the good things.
No, it's not.
Conflict needs to be resolved, not avoided. But I think starting out your conversation with gratitude is always helpful. So instead of just saying, it really bothers me when you, whatever, eat your mac and cheese with a spoon. But you can start with a gratitude like, thank you so much for making the mac and cheese. I really appreciate it, but it does really bother me when you eat it with a spoon. I know that's not a good example because, like, does that really matter? No, not really. That's something that I should probably overlook.
Yeah,
but
we need to learn to let some things go.
Yeah,
okay?
But that idea, not just like you do this and it bothers me, being like, you know what? I love you and I'm so thankful and grateful for this thing that you do, but I do want to bring up this point of conflict because I don't want to overlook it. But you start with the good. Starting with the good in order to get each other prepared for where you are does definitely help with then approaching conflicts. Yeah. I learned that concept in school. They made us this classical education. My gosh. They'd set up the classroom in a giant square and make us all sit around the table and talk through a concept. And they would grade you on how often you spoke. So if I didn't say anything, I would get a failing grade. That's the worst for kids that don't really care. Oh, so much anxiety. Because I process so slow, too. I'm like, I'm way behind you guys. Yeah. What's funny to me is, like, if I were in that setting, I just wouldn't have talked and been like, my grades are good enough. I don't care if I get an F on this. I'm not that way. Anyway, they taught us to not just, like, if someone says a point, just, like, shut him down. You don't just, like, they say this and you're like, well, that was not what I would have thought. You start by saying, that was a good point, but I disagree because And you have to start off with that, like, positive affirmation kind of thing. So, which I think is a good concept to just use in everyday life, like that.
Absolutely.
Just start off with the good instead of just hammering them down with the negative.
I think that we need to recognize that in marriage, it doesn't always need to be a debate.
That's true.
And some things are okay to just let go of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are okay to let them be for a time until the timing is right to approach them in a loving manner.
And I think we could do a whole nother podcast on that. Just knowing, like, there's different levels of things, and there's certain things that it's okay to just let it go, and there's certain things that really do need to be addressed. And
absolutely.
We should write that idea down.
Yeah.
Do that on another podcast.
We'll do that on a future podcast.
I'll write it down.
Yeah. If you're hearing any weird noises, there's some weird noises in here because we live in an RV. In case you didn't know,
all my pens are drying
this
out.
tiny space is an RV. Anyway,
it's not an airplane, John. Your brother, my brother-in-law. It's like whenever I watch your podcast, it looks like you're on an airplane because the window looks kind of framed like an airplane.
Anyway, it's like sleeting right now, and so it's like you can hear the patter on the roof and everything. So that's the noise. Don't be concerned. We're not under fire. We're good.
Even though we live right by an Air Force base.
But the problem is, it was like almost 80 yesterday. 2 days ago.
I got
yesterday
sunburnt.
It was like 70. It's snowing right now. Like, seriously.
Colorado weather. Is it normal like this in other places? Or is it like, oh, it's spring, it's warm and sunny and maybe rainy now, and Colorado's like spring? Nah, just kidding. I want winter back. No, wait, let's go to spring. Never mind winter.
Yeah.
It can't make up its mind.
Yeah. And our rainy season is really more the summer months. It's not the spring
It's
months.
end of July, beginning August. Yeah, that's the rainy season.
It's super weird.
And there's a bunch of, like, thunderstorms, and I love it.
We do love the thunderstorms, for sure.
Yeah. My book last night, one of the characters, she's, like, afraid of thunderstorms. Like, it just sent her into this, like, shaking ball, and the guy was like, I love thunderstorms, and he came in and, like, saw her like that and was like, why is she scared? I don't know what to do with this. And
what book is that?
Should I actually say? It's one of the Bridgerton books.
Yeah.
It's a little spicy, but
yeah, I know.
Romantic.
I know when she's going through a spicy part, she's like, hey. Yeah.
Well, you don't actually always know that because you usually fall asleep while I'm reading.
Yeah, I know.
So, anyway, the point is, you don't want the only gratitude that your spouse hears to be from other people.
No, definitely not.
Even if you're making a point to be the one to tell those other people, they need to hear it from you as well.
We need to be each other's number one supporter.
Yeah.
And if there are other people in your spouse's life that are being more supportive than you are,
step up your game.
Because they will start looking to that person for affirmation and just that support, I guess.
Everything that they should be looking to you for.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know a lot of women, like the women's talk in the conferences we do, they always say to be your husband's cheerleader.
Yeah.
It's another way to say it. I like saying number one supporter instead of cheerleader because I'm not a peppy person.
Cheerleader, though.
Like,
that could do it.
But you know what I mean? Like, I hear be your husband's cheerleader and I'm like, no, I'm not that kind of girl. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't support them.
For the
and
wives.
Cheer them on.
Some guys, try cheerleader. They might really like it.
Shut up.
Yeah, I think without expressing how grateful you are for your spouse and about things that your spouse does, they then can think of all your other interactions as nagging, and it's like, I don't even look forward to when you come home from work because you just nag me about this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And simply, if you have some, let's call it constructive criticism, right? If there are things that you need to discuss with each other, definitely leading with, thank you for doing this. Can you consider doing this too? Or you said that you were going to do this, but you didn't, and so I'm struggling with that right now. But leading with that gratefulness is super important.
Yeah. Okay, so for the people that gratitude is not a strong point for them,
yes,
I will give you this, maybe make it easier. Some key phrases or lead-ins that mean gratitude could be something like, I love you because, thank you for, I'm grateful for,
yep.
I appreciate that you.
Yep.
Do you have any others?
You look beautiful today.
I love it when you.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
And obviously learning your spouse's love language, like we keep talking about.
Yeah.
Because, so, for you need words.
Oh, well,
you
really?
need all the words because those are important to you. They make you feel loved, right?
Yes.
And so the skill of learning how to show my gratitude to you is so much more important than it may be for someone that feels loved by physical touch or, whatever, quality time.
Yeah.
Someone that needs quality time doesn't really care what you say to them nearly as much.
There might be someone who has words and quality time at the top too, though.
But I'm trying to make a generalization.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
They just don't, it doesn't matter nearly as much.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you have any ideas for a challenge this week?
Is that different than our challenge
video? It's so totally different. It's just based on the podcast and just kind of something for people to keep in mind this week as they're going through their week.
Yeah. That would be a good challenge video, though, the thing that I just thought of. Maybe I'll save it for that.
Save it. Okay, then I have an announcement.
Oh, gosh.
Why you think of our challenge.
Okay.
We're not pregnant.
Why is that? Why do you need to feel like you need to announce that?
I don't know. I have another announcement, though. We
that
are
was
going
so
to...
random. Have people been asking you? Your Nana said, I had a dream that you guys were pregnant, that you had a baby, and then she just looked at us. And we were like, well, it's not true. She was a little disappointed.
We are going to go to 2 podcasts a week.
We're going to try our best.
We're really going to try. It's going to be hard, but we're going to try.
Yeah, because you have a big...
I have a big job coming up.
Yeah, work thing coming up, and it's going to consume probably a whole month.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we're going to do our best.
Yep. But we're going to shoot for Sunday evenings and Wednesdays, I think, for posting. Yeah,
Sunday evenings?
Well,
last time I posted that Sunday at 6 a.m.
Oh, Sunday mornings?
I didn't know when you wanted me to do it, so I just made a decision.
We're going to post them so you can listen to them on Mondays and on Thursdays, essentially.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're going to be posted on Sunday and Wednesday or not, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Yeah, that was my announcement.
Okay. Challenge. When your spouse does something that makes you feel loved.
Something noteworthy?
Just something that makes you feel loved.
Okay.
Because for some spouses, maybe that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
So, I just heard a frog croak. Did you hear that?
It was a bird.
I thought it was a frog. I was like, why is there a frog outside in the snow? Okay. Sorry. Off topic. When your spouse does something that makes you feel loved, I want you to thank them for it, or like recognize them for what they did.
Tell them that you did recognize what they did.
Yeah.
And I want to go a step further with that. Not just things that make you feel loved, things that you recognize that they took time out of their day to do that they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe if you can't think of a time that you thanked them for something they do all the time that they just have made a habit out of, thank them for it, because it will
Yeah.
mean the world to them.
Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to go overboard and
I
be
know.
like, thank your spouse for every single thing that they do.
I'm just saying, be aware of it.
Yeah.
Be aware of those
at
things.
least once, like, try to remember, like, oh, they did something. I really should thank them for that.
Absolutely.
And start with that one time doing it.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do my best.
Do you have anything else that goes with gratitude?
I am grateful for this podcast.
Yeah.
I love having these conversations with you.
Me too.
They're so fun.
I like talking to you.
Yeah. We need another mic. We got to do that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to just, like, send us a mic, I would gratefully appreciate it.
Yes. For sure. Not a guy named Mike. We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need, like, Mike. We need a microphone.
Yeah.
Guy named Mike knocks on our door. I'm here.
Like, do you have a microphone for us? Because we don't want you otherwise.
It'd be really cool to have.
It'd be super nice.
To build our podcast setup.
Yeah.
I feel like I said the word build weird the first time, so I said it again.
Okay.
Anyway.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'm
that's all we
grateful
have.
for just everyone in our tiny little community that we have so far.
I know.
And for you.
Yeah.
You do a lot for me. You do a lot of dishes for me.
So many dishes.
You
many. Cook so much food and make so many dishes.
It's give and take.
And we live in an RV, so I have to hand wash all
Oh my gosh. I'm going to be so incredibly grateful the day that I get a dishwasher. We haven't had a dishwasher in like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I am super thankful that we still have a nice, cozy, warm place to live with a heckin' view.
Heckin' view.
This place, I mean, it's not $1 million view, but it's probably $500,000 view. Or more. It's pretty cool. I'll see if I can put it up on the screen.
We'll
Maybe
put it on the screen.
after the snow goes away.
So, if you're just listening to the audio, go to our YouTube channel. If you want to know what the view is.
Yeah.
Go to our YouTube channel. You can skip through the video if you want. We'll put it on the screen.
So.
Alright. We will see you guys in a few days, not next week.
Yeah. We gotta stick to it. We told them about it. That means we have to actually do it.
I'm gonna do the preacher thing and say, Lord willing.
Yeah. Lord willing.
Alright. Later.
Tater.